All right, here we are with part two of Eden's journey through life and some of his struggles. And we figured we'd make a separate episode for this one because this is probably a very deep and special one and meaningful one for him and his family. And he has barely said anything to me about this for most of his life. And so he's kept a lot of this bottled up to himself, and he's willing to share it today. He's going to talk about his sister Faith.
Yeah, thanks, man. Uh, so we talked about it. We recorded it. We had a good lunch yesterday and talked a little bit about it too. Just thinking about challenges and challenging times. Talked about the divorce and the split family last time. Wanted to spend some time talking about Faith. Faith Weller, my sister, who died by suicide 14 years ago. I think that's right. Her birthday was just July 4th. So memories fresh. We think about her often. I think about her daily, and especially on her birthday, July 4th. She would have turned 40. So yeah, not something that I openly talk about with anybody, or most people don't.
No.
I have had some conversation with some folks, but not on a deep level because it's hard. Because it's a difficult topic to talk about. It's hard for me to talk about myself. All of those reasons, right? So thanks for holding space. You feel all the feelings. I still feel the feelings around it. I feel guilt and shame, I think, is where it started. That I wasn't able to help her, or that I didn't see the signs, or that I didn't take time to give her the help that she needed. That one hits right away and stays with you for a while. And you process it and you talk it through and you try to talk it through and you hold some to yourself, and it's an ugly feeling to hold inside, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
From there, then I think I felt like the immediate need to feel strong or be strong, almost immediately within the next hour or two or day or two with your family as the rock that they can lean on, the person that helps people and helps people process some of that. And I don't know how you do that. You probably fake it. It felt like I was faking it for a while.
I was going to say that's probably almost more of a defense mechanism,
probably.
so you don't have to feel anything.
Yeah. You're probably right. And it was the role that I took on for a while, was to try to show strength when others didn't have it. To try to get through the processing piece of it. You don't get through it, though, you live it. And then I think after a while, you remember the memories of the good things and the positive, and the things that made her special. And then you give thought to the disease that she had and the diseases that she dealt with, mental health, bipolar, anxiety, all of the things that she was dealing with that made living hard. And you say, what's going on in this space? So I did a deep dive just into the research in that space, involved in some organizations, just thinking about the trends related to mental health and therapy and mental health needs and people struggling with those types of things.
I was going to say, I know you had mentioned to me that you had difficulty seeing some of the problems, and she was probably very good at asking them herself, trying to be strong.
Brilliant person.
Yeah.
The strong ones hide it the best, man. They're the smartest, strongest people, and she went through her fair share of therapy and getting help and needing getting assistance and trying to work through her stuff. And I think she had good days and bad days, and she could hide the bad days. I think to your point. And I think that's what the strong do, and I think that's what makes it difficult to help and support. And it was 15 years ago, and if I knew what I knew now and was able to have conversation at a deeper level or understand the flags or where I could raise issues or even just how to have a conversation about different things on deeper topics with her to kind of hold some additional space for her is the stuff that beats me up to this day.
Yeah.
That I wish that I should have. So I wasn't prepared for. Nobody's prepared for it, and still feel some guilt and some shame around not being able to help and support. She was living with me.
But you can't beat yourself up too much because trust me, being 25, you're still not. I would say you're becoming mature, but you're not quite at the level that we are today.
Yeah. And who knows? And you can play what if all day long, right? Like, so you can't, you're right, you can't spend too much time in that mental space. Or if you get into that mental space, figure a way to get out of it because you can ruminate in that space for way too long and it's not healthy. So, self-care stuff, right? Like going for walks and meditation and yoga. Stuff that I use that when I get into a funk, I can get out of a funk that way. There's some stuff that I've learned to deal with both face stuff and then just life stuff too. Life stuff that comes at you. Are there healthier ways to process it than I did? Probably, right? You don't have to shoulder that shit. It's easy to say that. I wasn't ready. I wasn't open enough. I didn't have folks that I thought were ready to hold space for me to be open about it and tell story about it. And also, there's a piece of it that's my story, and a lot of that is Faith's story. Yeah. So I want to be respectful to her in terms of what is shared and when, and what that means, and how we carry the legacy of a beautiful fucking person that she was.
Yeah, I always thought it was, neat's a good word, but I thought it was neat, cool, or however you want to say it, that you carried on her name through your youngest daughter's middle name.
That's it,
and your sister's done the same thing.
So Avalon started the trend and had our firstborn is Gracelyn Faith as a middle name, which she's turning 15. So just turned 15. Paxton Faith is 10, ours, and then Lydiana Faith. I should that name, and they're the Faith sisters. So we carry on tradition and like there's story behind it, and there's meaning behind it. We carry that, and we're proud of her. We're proud of the woman that she was, and get to tell stories to them about how amazing the Aunt Faith was. Get to meet her now, but we can share kind of story around that. So that's a way to heal from it. That's a way to share her legacy. That's a positive way to say, hey, this is how your name lives on through 3 incredible, amazing human beings that are, fierce like Faith. Yeah. All 3 of them have that.
Yeah, because I knew Faith myself, and yes, she was a beautiful young lady, and she was always, I don't want to say a tag along her little sister as we were growing up or whatever, but it was, her big smile was always great to see, and so on. And like I said, I know she's very smart, very intelligent, and those people do struggle. It seems like they struggle the most.
I don't. There's statistics, I'm sure. I try not to make too many generalities because there's people that say, hey, but like the people, there are people that think differently.
Yeah.
That their mind works different.
Yeah.
Neurodivergent, I think, is, and oftentimes I think they're off the scale when it comes to intelligence because they think their mind works differently, better or worse, or somewhere in between, right? Like I think, and I think they get smart at hiding from others and letting folks in that piece of it. So, everybody struggles. I think everybody, it doesn't matter what you look like or who you are or how smart you are. Mental health is something that impacts and affects a lot of people.
To say, a lot of people have walls built around them. They don't realize it. And I'm like I could say, even like with myself and my story, and you know that, and everybody just thought I had a drinking problem.
Yeah. The substance is the problem. Just if you could just stop drinking.
Yeah. But crazy thing is, once I figured out all of my real problems, the need for alcohol went away.
Yeah, and figuring out the real problems, dude.
So many people are
Some
scared.
people have a path to that. Some people have,
Yeah.
right. Like some people have a path to that. Some people do the work. Some people can do the work. Some people don't get there, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some people are just scared to face their demons.
Maybe fear, maybe. And like I talked about this last time about your journey being unique, in that it was do this, face your demons, or here's the other choice.
Yeah.
So fear was a motivator, I think, on both ends there.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like mental health needs would be addressed if we just said either get healthy or go to prison. Right? Like get help. Like if it was that way, they aren't ready yet. They can't do it. They're scared. I think all of the reasons why people don't that it's difficult to face fear. You think it has to do with if people just looked it in the eye, they could get healthy, or that was the path that you went on.
Well, I knew I was ready for it because I was tired.
Yeah.
I was tired of the way that I was living. I was tired of living the lie. I was tired of everything. And I just remember one activity that we did with and while we were doing our group sessions, and we had to draw a picture of what our house looked like from the outside. I just drew bricks because that was the wall. Nobody could see the house.
Mm-hmm.
They just saw the wall that was on the outside, and there was a gift.
Yeah. So even just relationship wise, you had nobody that you let through those walls.
No,
it was zero.
Yeah.
It got to be zero.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got to the point where I didn't care.
Yeah. And so, you think that you're saying that happens for a lot of people?
I think so.
Yeah.
I can say I'm a lot more observant now that I've been on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. I think I understand mental health needs differently.
Yeah.
I know I do.
Yeah.
And so when you love a person that has, when they're dealing with stuff, whatever that comes, then I think then you can empathize with it or understand it differently, or are less hesitant to push blame on people that have it that are dealing with it. I don't I don't want to suggest that it's an easy thing to fix, or if they would just do this, then all of your problems go away.
And it's all unique to the individual.
Yep.
And everybody needs it different.
Yeah.
There's no cookie cutter. This is what we're doing. This works for everybody.
Yeah. What does Patrick say is the common thread, though?
Oh God.
The desire to be loved.
Yes.
That's it. That's all that matters.
Every human wants to be loved.
Yeah. Needs to be loved, wants to be loved is what they're missing, or oftentimes is the unfulfilled kind of gap.
The opposite of the addiction is connection. So if you're not connected to people, you'll get connected to something else.
Yeah. I think that's important.
Yeah.
So like the connection. I have a wall up. I'm not going to connect to anybody.
Yeah.
The lack of connection is what you were describing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what the research says too. Like one loving adult for kids can help them get through their stuff. A mentor that cares about them. Even just the power of social connection as it relates to happiness and mental health. How deep do you want me? Like those are my feelings about faith, right? Like it felt good. Thanks for holding space. You go through all of that, dude. You go through all of that, and you can spend time in dark places too. I did.
Yeah.
I spent years in dark spaces, and I was bottled up because I didn't feel like sharing it. Because fuck you, I'm still feeling it. Because I think that it felt good to share some of the stuff with you. The first recording, it felt good to share some of that stuff. When we had lunch 2 days ago, I'm going to feel good after this. I think that's the point of it that we talked about, is like I didn't want to talk about it, and it feels good and it's healing, and maybe it will help others share their hard stuff too, or talk about it, and we can hold space for that. Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause,
I miss you and I love you, Faith. Uh, that, I say that regularly. I get advice. I still get advice from Faith. Just in what would Faith do? What would Faith's advice be?
no,
Uh,
I'm sure she's.
are you living up to who she thought you were as a brother and a person?
I'm quite certain she's looking over you and everyone in your family, because trust me, that I don't know who's been looking over me.
Yeah.
But I know I've done things that there's no way in hell that I should have walked away from, and I walked away unscathed.
Yeah. The belief in guardian angels,
Yes.
the belief in positive thought, the belief in folks that got your back,
Yeah.
that are helping you and helping others in your family. At what times are hard when you make foolish mistakes.
Yes.
When you're doing things and you're getting things that you don't deserve or feel like you deserve. Yeah. You have an update on your stuff that you wanted to walk through, or where do you want to go, man?
I was just going to jump back quick before we get to update myself. It was like how we were talking when we were at lunch, and how I said, seems like a lot of people don't know how to talk to me. Or they're like,
oh yeah, that was funny. That's hilarious.
Like I don't want to say don't know how to talk to me. They know how to talk to me, but like they're scared to talk to me about what I've done or what I've gone through.
It's a hard thing to talk about,
and how I've gone from this end of the spectrum to the complete opposite.
Change makes people uncomfortable.
Yes.
And it's a new person. So I think you're going to run into some of that. But yeah, describe it. And I asked, so give a description of what that looks like, or what that means, or that they won't address it, or they want to just have small talk and not really get to deep topic with you, or just kind of describe what that looks like.
I would probably say it's like they avoid the subject. It's like they tippy toe on the conversation, and like if it gets towards like it's going towards the little deeper end, all of a sudden they'll pull back.
Yeah, and when is the right time to have that conversation, and what's the right environment, and what would you hope though that happens? Well, you're open to talking about it, and you would like to talk about it more. Make it open to talk about.
I'm more than welcome to talk about it, because, like I said, I went from living this side of the wall where nobody knew anything, absolutely nothing, to now there is no wall, everything's transparent, and the secrets of life is over. And like, I don't know if they're still scared of, they're thinking of the old me that was scared to answer any questions, which could be a possibility. But the more that I get to talk about it, I think the better I feel about myself, and the more proud about myself I am.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is just about every time I talk about it, I start to tear up. Like it was at my niece's graduation party, and my cousin Trisha's kind of out of the blue said that she had saw it on Facebook and watched it, and she had no idea. And mostly we started talking about it. And the next thing you know, we're both in tears.
Yeah. That's hard for people to do.
Yeah.
So, and people just want to chill with you too. People just want to hang out too, and keep it happy and keep the mood light. So I think this is just my advice about it. I will for sure hold space for it, because I love hearing you and supporting you. I think others will too, as they're ready. Others just want to chill. Others just want to say, hey, I was talking to Kyle and he sounds like he's doing good. Or we talked about, you know what I mean? So I think sharing that you're open to talking about it, or that not afraid to talk about it, is awesome. And I think also it's hard for others to hold that stuff sometimes too. So that's or they aren't prepared for it, or the environment isn't right for it. So keep sharing story, and look for those that are able to hold it, and those that aren't, or just want to chill, or just want to hang out, or talk about the Brewers, or make fun of each other on the text chain. I think that also is healthy conversation that the environment is right for. And I think people will become more comfortable with it as they know who you are and you continue to share your story and continue to make it something that is okay to talk about, like you modeling vulnerability, and it is important, uh, and continues to be like continue to share your story because you're going through it day to day. I think you talk about it like you're past it or like you're through it, but like life is going to continue to come at you, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Well, as I put in the description of your first one, you wouldn't say that you're beyond fine. You'd said that you're working on it. It's a constant working process.
I am not. I'm like you read those things, and I say, well, it depends, man.
Yeah.
Depends on the day. Have I had my coffee yet? Well, then I'm, right. Like where am I at? And yeah, exactly right. Like it's like this, not day to day, but like a work in progress, because the stuff that I saw is like just when you have it figured out, then life comes at you.
Oh, again. Definitely.
Then there's a new challenge. Like life gets harder was where I was in my when I was doing stuff today, just kind of thinking about it. Like you're continue to face with challenges throughout. The longer you live, you will continue to chase with challenges and loss and relationship stuff and helping kids with their stuff. Right? Like I think just it continues to build. So it's your ability to deal with that stuff and the tools that you have to deal with it, and not like in mindset stuff, which you shared. Yeah. So I am not beyond fine. Getting back to the point. I'm working on it each day, and will continue to do so. And I think that's the case for you as well.
Yeah,
I think that's the point. It's a journey. Yeah.
Yeah, we've. So it's always a work in progress because it doesn't matter how good things are going or whatever. You can take a step back at any moment.
I think so. Yeah. And new challenges will be in front of you.
Yeah.
I think like, okay, now we're dealing with this, or now this is, or health, or loss, or family, or all of the things that you have in your life as you continue to grow and evolve, continue to get harder, or at least more complex.
Yeah. But I'd say just probably one of the biggest things that I've noticed, like before, like when you just give a reaction and you fired something off.
Good.
In the past, I wouldn't have cared what I did. Like now, it's like, oh crap! I just give a reaction of who I used to be. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it like that.
Yeah. Well, you're acknowledging your behavior. Yeah. And I think, so give me an example. At work or at home or both?
It could be at work or at home, or just the simplest thing. Might just also like, why in the did you do that?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, well, I didn't need to say it that way. I should have said, what's going on here?
That's understanding another person's perspective, right? Like, yeah. And being more aware, being more self-aware of, well, it could have been, what I was trying to say was this, it could have been, or what I said was totally inappropriate and I'm sorry, right? Like some of that is like, I apologize for my behavior. It was out of line. Like owning that, I think, and how long it takes to own that, or if you do own that. Now this sounds like a relationship advice show. And nobody needs that from us.
No.
I wanted to ask you about. So you gave an example of that, and you talked a lot about mindset too, right? Like even just mindset at work and calmness.
Yeah.
Will you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. In the positive, trying to be positive on things, and I think the big thing before was like, oh my God, or overreacting, or not knowing how to get there, or it's like it's 3:30. Like, let's hurry up and make sure we get done so we can go up and start drinking after. But then, like, you're not really worried about that. And after I learned that I brought my walls down and all this other stuff, and I learned to be open and express myself, and that's when I realized I'm like, I'm not living that hell anymore. I'm not on edge. I'm not. It seems like I lived that hell for most of my life, and now it seems like there's much that you can't throw at me that's gonna get a big rise out of me.
Yeah.